It's hard to find anyone under 30 who doesn't have a Twitter, Instagram, or for those of us stuck in 2012, a Facebook. In fact, studies have shown that 90% of young adults and at least 66% of people living in the United States have an account on a social network. With those numbers, it's a safe assumption they're not someone that just totally doesn't get why people don't just have face-to-face conversations. And if you're anything like me, you waste an unhealthy amount of time scrolling through your social network of choice. Like many others, I use Twitter as a source of news, entertainment, a way to see what my friends are up to, and for some reason, as a constant depressing reminder that everything's terrible. Whether it's seeing the last dumb thing Trump said, or another celebrity copying awful, or just some random jerk yelling slurs, Twitter has mastered ruining my day. But not enough for me to stop using it, of course. Social media has become a very integral part of our lives, and on some level, we live online. So a social network is its own kind of society, and as such, it has its own concept of right and wrong. Today, I would like to talk about the ethics behind the practice of social media shaming. Though the phrase social media shaming may be unfamiliar, if you're active on social media, you've seen, and for better or for worse, likely been part of a social media shaming. The concept of a social media shaming is simple. First of all, an individual sees that a person online has done or said something that they disagree with. Then, the individual directly or indirectly posts an attack against the person they disagree with. The situation becomes a shaming when multiple people attack the same person. The concept might seem pretty terrible, but so many of us are guilty of it. Why do we do it? And is there anything ethical about this practice? As a society, we believe people should face consequences for their wrongdoings. There are cases in which the justice system fails to punish guilty criminals, such as with double jeopardy. Social media shaming is a way in which people can non-violently take justice into their own hands. Secondarily, it allows people to punish others who are guilty of social misdeeds that are legal, such as being an asshole. As a society, we believe it's good to try to uphold social changes that as a whole, society views as positive. In my experience, a majority of social media shamings have been against unknown people who shared their racist, sexist, or homophobic views. People see their comments and feel the need to speak out against them. Through a snowball effect of attention, a large amount of people see and speak out against them, causing them to usually stop using social media. These frequent shamings discourage other users from openly sharing views that could be offensive, creating an environment in which dissenting opinions are scarcer. While all that sounded good and only slightly authoritarian, you can probably imagine it's not all sunshine and roses. In which ways is social media shaming unethical? It's safe to say that almost all modern societies agree that people deserve a fair trial before being punished. It's a good idea to be completely sure that someone's guilty of a crime before execution. However, sometimes it seems the internet moves too quickly to worry about legitimacy or proof. Though it only takes a moment to Google something to figure out if it's true, it sometimes feels easier to just go with the flow and send someone a death threat. It's accepted that there should be consequences for our actions, but so is the idea that there should be a limit on how much a person should be punished for the crime. You know what's not good? Making an offensive joke on the internet. You know what else isn't good? Thousands of angry people harassing a single person who don't seem to know how to close their laptop. Well, that is if the only consequence is harassment. It's shockingly common for people to try to ruin someone's life over an idiotic tweet or post. A popular social media shaming will more often than not result in a person's personal information being leaked. People will call the person's family, try to get them fired from their job, and worst of all, death threats get a lot scarier when people have your address. And once the dust settles and people move on to the next person to shame, the stain of what the person said will follow them for the rest of their life through their Google search results. What conclusions can we draw from these points? Should we just give people a pass on terrible behavior? What behavior, as an individual participating in a social media shaming, is ethical? It's easy to forget that when we send an angry message to a jerk online, we might just be one of many people in a mob. The details of our specific message are lost, but our anger is minutely added to a growing amalgam of hate. If we suspect that we might be contributing to public shaming, we should first be certain that the person is guilty of the wrongdoing they've been accused of. And then, try to discern if the person is receiving a punishment more severe than their crime. If so, it would be wrong to contribute more. The pseudo-anonymity of online environments tempts people, such as ourselves, to do and say things to others we would not do otherwise. Remember that people are more than just the wrongs they've committed, or a username. They're a living, breathing human just like you. While not all public shamings are unjustified, the cruelty and lack of forgiveness exhibited by the social media mob makes the practice seem unsavory at best. Make sure if you pick a fight online, you're doing it for the right reasons.